Hello everyone, my name is Joni and welcome to Love Qualified, a ministry that is dedicated to encouraging others to experience the sovereign love of the one true God who has qualified us to be his beloved ones. I am a Christian author and I have independently published 5 books. I've written Christian romance novels and 2 devotionals and counting by God's grace. In this video, I am going to be encouraging you, Christian author, yes you, to write your book in 2024. So if you're interested in that, then keep watching. If you are not a Christian author, then this video is not for you. So please click away right now because I am going to be mentioning God, Jesus, the Bible, the Christian faith, prayer. And if that's not going to apply to you, then this is not the video for you. I am talking specifically to Christians who are writers. You don't necessarily need to be a writer of Christian fiction, but if God has called you to write a story and God has called you to write a book and you've been sitting on that idea, twiddling your thumbs for weeks, months, years, then I'm here for you to encourage you to finally write your book in 2024. So how do you actually write a book? How do you start writing a book? It's not an easy thing. It's not something that you just write overnight, okay? There's lots of things that you need to consider to actually write and publish a book. The first thing that I would say as a Christian author, and I think is very important to do, is to pray. Okay, yes, I know, everybody talks about prayer, but look, prayer is very important. Prayer actually makes us to understand that we need God. If God has put an idea in your heart, then you need to pray that God gives you clarity. You need to pray for wisdom. You need to pray that God helps you to understand the message that he wants you to write. Every book, whether it's fiction or non-fiction, has a message. There's a message that you want to put out there or a theme that you'd want to tackle. So you need to pray that God actually helps you to have clarity for what that message actually is. And you need to also pray for revelation. It's important that God reveals the things that he wants you to write. Before he called you, you knew nothing about this book. You knew nothing about this idea, but now God has placed it in your heart. So you need to pray that he gives you revelation, and you need to pray for inspiration as well. Let me tell you, you need to be inspired to write those words. And inspiration, we know, comes from God. He's the source of our creativity. He's the source of our inspiration. So it's important that you pray that he inspires you, he gives you clarity, he gives you wisdom, and that he also gives you revelation that you need to finally write this book. Okay, now so you've prayed and God has revealed these things to you, or some of it, because sometimes God can reveal things as you go, but you know where to start. Now, what is the vision? You need to ask yourself, what is the vision for this book? Again, it doesn't matter whether it's fiction or non-fiction. What is the vision? You need to know what the vision is. Are you writing a book for single mothers to encourage them through tough times? Are you writing a fiction book? Is it a Christian romance book like myself? Or is it just a clean romance book? Is it a mystery? Is it a thriller? What exactly is the vision? I think it's important to find the vision and to write that down. The other thing that you would want to consider is, who is your audience? Okay, who are you writing this book for? Who is your ideal reader? It's important to make sure, because when you want to start writing the book, it's important that you have your ideal reader in mind, because if you know who you're writing for, then you'd be able to tailor this message in a way that will suit them. Remember, when you're writing this book, you're meeting a need, which is why I was asking about what the vision is, what the need is. Who is your ideal reader? Who are you going to be helping? What is the message that you're going to be writing through the book? It's important to have clarity in all these things. What lesson would you want them to take from the story? Again, it doesn't matter whether it's fiction or non-fiction. My books, when I write my books, whether it's a devotional or the fiction books, they always have a theme. They always follow a theme. You would notice a theme in the title. You would notice a theme as you read the book in the characters. Always have a faith arc when they start from the, somewhere at the beginning. They will undergo a transformation, and by the end of the book, they will always learn something. So it's important to have that goal in mind when you start writing the book. Now, if you've had these things down, or some idea of what these things can do, the next thing that I think would be important to do is to brainstorm. Okay, so brainstorm write down all your ideas. Just do like a word vomit, or what they refer to it as a word vomit. Write everything down, whether it's on software, on Google Docs, on what you call it, Microsoft Word, or even if it's just a notebook, or you can buy a writing journal. I used to have a writing journal before where I would brainstorm and write all my ideas. Now I actually use Google Docs for everything, but people can have a journal, or you just literally write down every single thing as it comes to you. It doesn't have to be pretty. Like, as the ideas come, as you're thinking about it, doing research, reading up about these themes, or reading other books about these themes, just be writing down all the ideas that come to you. And then the next thing that you really want to do, that I think is important, is to create an outline. Now, I know that there's some writers, especially writers of fiction, that call themselves pantsers, who don't necessarily need a detailed outline to write a book. That's fine, but you need to have some sort of direction. You don't need to have a detailed outline like myself, because I have to have a detailed outline. I outline every single chapter before I start writing the book. But if that's not you, at least if you're somebody that needs to outline only the first few chapters, at least that's still outlining, that's still putting structure into your story. Or if you're somebody who just needs to have a very loose outline, so loose as in just a summary of the book, or just a summary of a couple of chapters, at least to give you a sense of direction, whatever works for you, that's fine. But please have some sort of structure before you go into the book. If not, you're going to end up writing hundreds of thousands of words and still not hitting the theme. It's very important to have some sort of structure, whether it's a detailed outline, 5 sentences, or different things. There's different ways I used to outline. I used the Save the Cat Writes a Novel to outline, in terms of making sure that I hit all the themes for my character arc. I also use Snowflake method to outline my novels, where you start with 1 sentence, then you do 2 sentences, then you do 5 sentences to summarize a book, and then you do a chapter by chapter outline. So that's just the different ways that I use to outline my book. Like I said, you might not need to be as detailed as I am, but it will be important for you to have some sort of structure, so you can make sure that those themes go into the book. So the essential thing is that you need to carry all those things that you have, all those ideas that you have word vomited, all those ideas that you have thrown into the piece of paper, into your journal, wherever they are. You need to put them into chapters. You need to arrange them into chapters. If you're a writer of fiction, it's important that your book has some sort of structure, that there is a beginning, middle, and an end. So you need to look at those ideas that you've written down and try to arrange it to say, what things do you think will fit at the beginning? What things do you think will fit in the middle? What things do you think will fit at the end? And don't worry, this outline does not need to be perfect. Like I said, things might change as you start writing. You might get more inspiration. God will continue to direct you and show you the next step and the next step, but you just need to have some sort of structure, or an arrow showing you go this way. I think that's very important that you have. The next thing that you want to do is to actually start writing. Now, let me tell you, there is no perfect time to write. We are all busy. Obviously, we do have lots and lots of commitments. A lot of us work. I work full time. And people always ask me, how do you find the time to write? Let me tell you, I have to make time to write. Like, I have to try and insert time and create time, because there is never going to be a perfect time. I try to write when after work. I try to write on the weekends, on my off days when I'm not working. But it's all about intentionality. You need to be intentional. If you want to write that book this year, you need to be intentional. It's one thing to sit down and say, I want to write a book. It's another thing to actually sit down and say, I'm writing a book. Like, I've actually started writing. Because if you don't take that step, if you don't open that laptop, if you don't open that notebook, the book is not going to write itself. So you need to then download that idea that God has given you, put those things into place, and start writing. Even if it's just 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, before work, after work, on your lunch break, whilst you're in the train to work, or you're in the bus to work, or if you might be driving, you might be dictating, or different things like that. There's so many things. It doesn't have to be right every day. You don't need to be that consistent, but you need to be, there needs to be some sort of consistency that you put into it, but it doesn't need to be every day. You just need to be intentional, and you need to have accountability. It's important that you have accountability. find people around you that will support you, that are aware of this vision that God has put in your heart, people that will encourage you, speak life into you, speak into you and encourage you. Because let me tell you, it's gonna get hard. You're gonna reach a point where you're just like, what is the point? But that's why I say it's important to write down the vision, because when you remember what God has shown you, what the vision is, when those times are hard, you will then go back to what the vision is, what the message is, and that will encourage you to continue writing what God, that story that God has placed in your heart. And then the next thing is to set deadlines. Okay, if you want to finish this book in 2024, you need to have some sort of idea realistically when you want to finish it. Okay, so are you going to write 1 chapter a month, or 2 chapters a month, or 10 chapters a month? Do you want to finish it by the summer? Do you want to finish it by December? Like, you need to have some sort of idea, and then you need to check in from time to time and see whether you're meeting those deadlines, or if you need to tweak those deadlines. Again, try not to put so much pressure on yourself, but you need to try and have some sort of structure, which is why I mentioned before about accountability, because it's important that you have accountability partners who will keep you in check and keep asking you from time to time about whether you're making or hitting those deadlines. So those are very, very important. And then the last thing I wanted to say, that one thing that would really help you to continue to do to write that book in 2024 is to pray. I know I mentioned about prayer at the beginning when you were talking about asking God to give us revelations, wisdom, clarity, and inspiration. But it's also good to pray that when discouragement comes, we will not give up. There are going to be people who will try to discourage you, who will try to tell you that what you're doing is not worth it, who will try to say, everybody is writing. What makes you think that your story is different? What makes you think that your story is important? You need to pray against discouragement, because the devil, when he knows that you want to write that book, he's going to try everything to discourage you. It is not easy. As somebody who has written unpublished books before, I can tell you that it is not an easy journey. You will reach writer's block. You will get to a point where you feel like, I don't have inspiration to write. It's important that you pray that God will take away those naysayers from your life, those people who are trying to discourage you. You need to pray that when you are discouraged, that God will encourage you and fill you with his encouragement, fill you with his creativity, and inspire you again to start writing. You need to pray against doubt, because let me tell you, you are going to doubt yourself. You're going to doubt the abilities that God has given you, but you need to remember that God is writing with you. He is the one who has called you. He's writing with you. You're writing for him, but you're also writing with him. He's not going to let you do this on your own. That's why I said you need to rely on him every single step of the way. You need to rely on him, because that inspiration, that burst of inspiration that you're going to have that will impact somebody's life is going to come from God and God alone, not from your strength. So don't put pressure on yourself. It's not about you. This is not about you. This has always been about God. He's the one who has given you that story, so he will help you to write that story this year in 2024 by God's grace. That's all I have to share with you guys. If you are looking for somebody to really help you on your writing journey this year 2024, somebody who will provide accountability, somebody who will provide guidance, you've never written a book before, you've never published a book before, you don't know anything about marketing, you just want to know what it is like, I offer one-to-one book author coaching services for Christian authors. So if you want to have some, like I said, some sort of guidance along your journey, you really want somebody to help you and keep you accountable and provide advice and encouragement to help you actually finally write that book this year, then please check out the link in my bio. Click on the link, go to my website and book a one-on-one coaching session with me, and I'm very happy to help you. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you're writing. If you're a Christian author who is looking to write a book, I want to know about the stories that God has laid on your heart, or if there's anything that you want to share to encourage other writers, then please leave that in the comments. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and if you want more videos about faith, entrepreneurship and lifestyle, then please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, share with a friend, and hit the bell notification. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you have a lovely rest of the day. Remember that the sovereign love of the one true God has qualified you to be his beloved one. Take care and God bless you. Mwah. Bye.